On June 1st, 2011, countless lives changed forever. A beautiful mother, daughter, sister, aunt, cousin, and friend was stolen from all who loved her. It was brutal, tragic, and is still so very difficult to understand. Jacque Sue Rawson-Waller's story not only touched us and our small corner of the world, but far beyond that. Tonight, to share a sister's story is a woman that is now very near and dear to my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, I would ask that you put your hands together and please welcome to the stage Miss Cheryl Brenneke.
I am Jackie's big sister, a very proud big sister. My husband, my awesome husband, and I are now raising Jackie's 8-year-old triplets, and they just had a birthday last Monday. And we have a big blowout bash this Saturday planned with all their kids at school. They're Avery, Maddox, and Addison, of course, is their names. With lots of help from my mom and my dad and my brother and his awesome wife, we're all pulling together and doing the best job we can. We have publicly thanked the law enforcement, prosecutor's office, search and rescue, but somebody that's always been edited out, and I wanted to make sure that they knew how much we appreciate them, is the Division of Family Services. They have worked so hard and with all their hard work and devotion to protect all the kids in the system. And this system is so overwhelmed with kids in such terrible situations. They fight to protect them every day. Thanks to them and all their hard work, the adoption will be final the 12th of next month. We did get some justice for Jackie. It wasn't enough, but we did get some justice for Jackie. And we feel like we need to pay it forward in some little way and try to help other victims of abuse to know their options. And we thank everyone embraced us so much, and they really have. We're very blessed. Well, we think that is because everyone understands and realizes it could be their daughter or their little sister or their friend or coworker. I'll be fine. I just have to do this and then I'll be fine. Okay. We never expected or thought that this could happen to our beautiful Jackie or our family. We're just your normal, average working family in small town USA. And you notice I didn't say perfect family. We're not perfect. We're just normal, everyday folks. But as reality TV shows us, it can and it does happen at an alarming rate to people every day, just like Jackie. We grew up in Farmington, about an hour and 15 minutes north, and after graduating high school and Mineral Area College, Jackie moved down here to attend SEMO, and she stayed 20 years. We now understand why she liked living here so much. I'm looking at her friends. I'll be fine. Thank you. She loved her job as manager at Anthem Blue Cross so much. And she had so many wonderful friends that cared about her so much. She was a good girl. She never gave mom and dad a minute's trouble. That was my job. But she didn't. She was a good girl. And I never would have guessed that sweet, quiet, shy little strawberry blonde would grow up to be such a beautiful, intelligent spitfire of a woman. Above all, though, she was so much fun. We had so much fun. Her coworkers, they've got endless stories about the pranks she'd pull at work. How she'd jump out of doorways. She'd come out from under a desk and scare them to death. And at home, some of her favorite pranks were throwing ice-cold water over the top of the shower, or, of course, flushing. That's a favorite of most families. And this is one I'd never heard of, but the turning the seat warmers on high in the middle of summer, and just waiting to see your reaction when you're sweating and trying to figure out why. When the air is on, and you're going, why am I so hot? And the ever popular, my dad is famous for, and she followed family tradition, I guess. Anytime you walk in front of her car, she had to honk. She'd just laugh and slap her leg and say, "It just never gets old." She loved to do that. We didn't think Jackie really wanted to have children. And for the longest time, we thought she's just not going to have any kids. And all of a sudden, she decided she did. And then she discovered that she might not be able to. So, she said she was going to try in vitro fertilization. And if it didn't work, would I consider being her surrogate? I am so glad we did not have to do that. The second round of in vitro worked, and she embraced being pregnant with triplets from the word go. She was so excited. They were the light of her life. Everyone was amazed at how she took it all in stride. She made it look pretty easy. And one of my very favorite memories of her and the kids, after they got big enough to talk and everything, they'd say, "Mommy, why did God give you 3 babies?" She'd say, "You know why?" And they'd say, "Because he knew you could handle it." And they'd just laugh. She'd say, "Yep, he knew I could handle it." She had an amazing way of laughing off all of the craziness that comes with 3 babies. And believe me, it is crazy. And I would be in the car with her and 3 crying or fighting kids. And I would seriously be contemplating jumping out. And she would just start laughing because she could see the look on my face, And I would be like, "This is insanity," And she would just start laughing. And it was always just like, "What are you going to do? Might as well laugh." No sense getting upset. I think she gets that from Mom. But I can honestly say, I never seen her lose it, and I never seen her feel sorry for herself. She was getting up literally 9 times a night for about the first year and a half, and working a full-time job with a smile on her face all day, every day. And that's amazing. She would come up to our house every weekend we always called it recharge her batteries. And Bob and I would take the kids at night. Sometimes I'd take 1, he'd take 2. Sometimes he'd take 1, I'd take 2. Sometimes I'd take all 3. And we'd just let her get a good night's sleep on Friday night and Saturday night so she could go and do it all again, all week long by herself, because she didn't get any help at all. And Bob and I always had a saying, we love to see headlights, but we also love to see taillights. We'd be standing in the driveway going, Wow, that's over. And me and him usually go in and take a nap, and then we'd get up and we'd be like, and she still got them all. She's still going down there. But after this happened, we kind of looked at each other and said, you know, there's not going to be any more taillights, but we can do this. But she loved every minute of all the craziness. So how did we get here? Did you know that 1/4 of all relationships are abusive? I didn't know that. Thank goodness I didn't know that. But abuse comes in all shapes and sizes. Tonight, I hope to reach out, maybe to somebody in this room. I need you to know and understand some of the subtle forms of abuse and your options. I'm sure Jacque didn't even consider herself an abused woman until at the end. It's not always about black eyes and bruises. Not at all. The abuse she encountered for years was manipulation. She wasn't isolated. She came up every weekend. She didn't care if he liked it or not. So she wasn't isolated. He didn't control her finances like a lot of abusers do. She was the breadwinner. She paid all the bills. She spent money on whatever she wanted to. She loved to shop, really loved shoes, really tall shoes. He couldn't even verbally abuse her because he could never match wits with her. She was just too smart, too quick, and she wouldn't put up with that. But he could manipulate her. She even knew he was manipulating her. She had a codependent relationship with him, and she felt sorry for him. He was perfectly capable of taking care of himself. Thank you. But he acted like he couldn't. So she took care of everything. She said she felt more like his mother than his wife. At the end of the relationship, he was losing control of her, though, and resorted to his last tactic. He threatened her children. She went back and forth about whether she felt he would actually hurt her or the kids. Half the time, she thought he was just a desperate man saying anything he could to control her and to keep her from leaving. They'd been married 18 years. Surely he loved her enough not to do that. Right? You would think so. The other half of the time, she totally believed him because of all the things he had told her that he had done to other people. She tried to slowly leave over the course of an entire year. And believe me, it was excruciating to watch. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. It just didn't seem like she got anywhere. I would tell her, Jacque, it's all talk. He's just running his mouth. He's not going to do anything. And, blank or get off the pot. I really thought she should take her power back. But she knew. After she told me that he had threatened the kids, that stopped me in my tracks. I'm like, who even says that? She said, you don't know what he's capable of, Cheryl. I do, and I just don't want to be dead. She thought she could control the situation enough and keep everyone safe. But we know now that she couldn't. She felt stuck. She had money. She didn't need to go to a shelter, right? People that have money don't go to shelters, right? She wouldn't let us intervene, said it would just make it worse. Believe me, we wanted to send Dad, Bob, Brother Rob, a few other nieces or nephews down to have a talk with him. But she wouldn't let us. She said that only make things worse. And she was a grown woman. She was intelligent. We loved her, and we had to respect her wishes. So now, let's talk about the safe house. Everyone has a picture in their mind about what an abused person looks like. Me personally, I always picture Farrah Fawcett in that movie. Don't you? I mean, if you're of the same age as me, I always get that picture in my mind. But I had that misconception until this happened. Everyone has thoughts in their mind about what a safe house is like and what they offer. We really have no idea, guys. Yes, they've got hotlines. Everybody knows they've got hotlines, and they've got an emergency place to stay that you can call the police, and they'll take you to the safe house, and you'll be safe for the night. Well, did you know that they offer individual counseling to people and accommodate victims' schedules so their abuser doesn't even know that they're getting counseling? You don't have to go in the safe house to take advantage of these things. These counselors know the dynamics of these abusers and manipulators. They can counsel you to understand that they do not change, and you cannot control the situation or the abuser. They have support groups, so you can talk to other victims in your same situation and gain strength from talking to other women that are in the situation. They'll go to court with you. They'll explain each step of the way. And more importantly, they'll hold your hand through this. They will help you navigate the government agencies if you need them. Not everyone needs them. Some people do need them. This is amazing. They go into the schools, and they try to stop this in its tracks before it reaches another generation. Right now, the safe house in my area has got 3 generations of one family in it. Wow. Why? It's because they were never taught any different. They were never taught that they deserved respect and that they did not deserve to be treated this way. So I think that's an awesome program. And Tracy and the other gals at the Safe House up in Bonne Terre are trying to get that into our schools. And I hope we can make that happen. Did you know that some victims won't leave their abuser because they have pets? Never entered my mind. But the shelter is so in tune with the needs of these victims, they will even shelter pets. I think that's incredible. Like I said, Jackie doesn't fit the role of an abused woman. She was smart, educated, confident, and she had the means to pick up and move out of state where he couldn't find her. We talked about that many times. She wasn't willing to leave her family, her friends, her job, and the wonderful future that she had all in place right there in front of her. Even though she was dealing with him and all of his threats and everything, she was happy. She always had a smile on her face, unless she was on the phone with him. She was the happiest I have ever seen her. I'm so glad she got to experience that. She was so excited about her future and the kids' future. If we would have known about all the fine counselors and the programs available right here in this town, I may not be here today. Instead, it might be Jackie standing here giving her testimony about how the Safe House for Women saved her life. So I'd like to honor Jackie's life and her memory by helping to erase the stigma and preconceptions that people have about safe houses and the programs. And I'd like you to join me, because the safe house just might save your life or somebody that you love. So dig deep, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. And I should mention that Cheryl is not alone here tonight. She did bring her husband, Bob, and Jackie's parents. I don't want to embarrass you, but Ruby and Stan, do you guys mind? Stan, you're over there. Ruby, do you mind just standing so everybody can say hi to you? And give them a round of applause, too. Their family has inspired me over the last 2 years, and I know they have many of you as well. So thank you all so much for being here tonight. It really means a lot.